what is your growth story for your company and kind of why you started and reasoning behind it, and then just a little bit about the company.
So I'll start a little bit about the company and then I'll get into why we started it. So Cohealo is a healthcare technology company. We're about, I'm saying 9 years old now almost. We started in Miami, Florida. We graduated, so to speak, to Boston, Massachusetts. We help health systems save money by optimizing the use of their surgical and medical equipment, primarily by sharing it and redeploying it between sites on demand. The reason what really got us interested in starting the company was it was a little bit combination of classic startup story and a need in the market, an unmet need. So one of our founders was actually selling surgical equipment to hospitals, and I just happened to sit next to him in graduate school at the University of Miami, and he was wearing scrubs, and I was in there to expand my business horizons and was interested in looking at different challenges in my career. And so when he told me some of the challenges that he was experiencing selling equipment into hospitals where, one hospital would buy the equipment, but basically never use it. And the sister facility down the road desperately needed the same technology, but didn't have the budget. And he was frustrated with trying to get that equipment into the doctor's hands, but he just couldn't get it there. There was no mechanism for it. And I have an operations and logistics background. And I was thinking, very similarly, well, why not just move it? He goes, exactly. So how do we make that happen? And so that's what gave us that, we were looking at other stories at the time, Zipcar being a really good early fractional ownership model that we were interested in, and looking at other industries that were leveraging sharing economy principles successfully, seeing that healthcare by nature is so conservative. How could we bring some similar idea to healthcare and make it a reality? So that's what got us going. And for me personally, it was a challenge of entering a new industry that I've always been interested in, but was a little intimidated by, because you think of healthcare and you think of the doctors and all the training they go through to get where they are, and it's this sacred, hallowed part of our society. So building a company to support it was an interesting challenge that I wanted to take on. So that's what led to the start of the company. And we've obviously been through a lot of different challenges over the last 9 years, taken a lot of different roads to get where we're at, but it's led us to a really interesting point in our company's life cycle right now.
Now, how big is your company?
So in terms of people, we're about 22 people in the company now. We started with just 3. We are in multiple health systems on both coasts across the country, and then we're even expanded into the UK. So we're now technically an international company, which is nice to be able to say. We're on our path to, being a fully viable company long term.
So if there's one thing that your company wanted to execute on within the next 12 to 18 months, what would it be?
The big focus for us over the next 12 to 18 months is really focused on growth. Healthcare, everyone always talks about when you're building a business in healthcare, you kind of measure your leaps and bounds in months and years, whereas maybe in a traditional B2C company, you can experience that viral growth, and you start measuring daily active users on a daily basis, right? Whereas what we do in enterprise healthcare, it takes a long time. So for us, we spent the early part of our company's life cycle really focusing on product market fit, proving out our business model and value model with some core customers. And now, both because of our long-standing position in the market, still first to market on this model, we've built a brand, we've got some recognition, we've educated a lot of the market. We're also getting a lot of inbound interest because of COVID, right? So unfortunately, the pandemic has put a big strain on healthcare. It's cost them a lot of money. And now we have a lot of health systems saying, well, sharing's not a nice to have, it's actually a business imperative. So we're getting a lot of interest in our company inbound as well as that, what we traditionally do outbound. So now it's about capitalizing on that interest and going out into the market in a big way. So next 12 to 18 months, we're actually going to probably double our company size. And most of that will be on the growth side, sales and marketing, some R&D. But ultimately, it's all in the name of adding new clients, bringing our value to the greater market, and then making sure we can scale in support of that. So what'll keep me up at night over the next 12 to 18 months is making sure we have enough process and product in place to support that growth.
To
Yeah.
wrap it up, is there anything else that you wanted to add, either about your company or about your experience with Growth Lab?
What I'll say about our experience with Growth Lab is, they've been fantastic partners in the life cycle that we've been in, right? We're in this stage, at least for Cohealo, where we've had multiple iterations. We actually had in-house finance team and accounting team, and then we've moved to, call it a partnership arrangement with Growth Lab, and they've been very supportive. It wasn't, we weren't born and then engaged Growth Lab. They came in with some what I'll call existing finance debt that, either through processes or things that we've done that Growth Lab had to clean up and help us improve upon and put in some process and some new ways of doing business for us that has actually really taken a big burden off me personally, because in the time that we started transitioning, I was owning a lot of the financial work, and it was a big distraction for me as I needed to focus on scaling the company or core operations. So from that perspective, they've done a really good job of taking the reins and, taking out some of the debt, improving it, and helping us, set the stage for that scale and growth. So I've been really, really grateful for that work that they've done.